Doom rocket launcher build part 2. There's my tube. That looks kind of short, doesn't it? Ah! You gotta love the smell of PVC getting chopped up. Probably causes cancer. Now after a ton of scaling, I've got my outline. Now I just gotta cut it out. Before I start jigsawing this out, I made these strips by running a table saw through the excess at the bottom this direction, and then I cut it this way to make these strips that will make sure the rocket stays in the right position inside of the tube. That way it hits the contacts that I think I'm going to make. We'll see if this works out or not. And then this part, I'm gonna use a jigsaw to cut out, because you can't use a table saw, but I did run this strip off the top here for where the step down is for the small tube in the back. So now it's time to jigsaw. I borrowed a jigsaw to cut this out because I don't own one. The ideal tool for this would be a scroll saw, and that would be awesome, and it would take next to no time to get the cleanup done. But yeah, I remember when I said in the first part that I'd have to hit some points where I had to use what I had and not what would be the best tool for the job. This is one of them, because scroll saws aren't cheap. So now I'm going to cut this out as carefully as I possibly can so that I don't have as much cleanup when I'm done. See how it's aerated PVC? Isn't that cool? Before I cut out any more, I forgot to show you that my board is warped. See how it has a curve to it? And my rocket launcher is not going to be curved. But I do know that with the sinter stuff, when you heat up one side of it, it expands and it makes it like curve the other direction as it heats up. So I'm going to heat this side up and I'm going to try to stretch it a little bit and take this bend out of it. You can even see it right there. It's terrible. So now I'm going to use a heat gun and not cut it out like I said I was going to. This is going to take an enormous amount of time because of the thickness of the board, because it's like an insulator, so it's going to take forever to get the middle warm enough that I can bend this. Also, if you don't own a heat gun, just get a cheap one. These things are worth their weight in gold. I use this 100 times more than I thought I would when I bought it. I'm not done heat gunning, but if you can tell, there's a lot more grain on here than there is up here. And it's because this part has been heat gunned thoroughly. And apparently this wood grain is pressed into the wood, and because it's pressed in, when you heat it up, it comes back out. So I'll have much less sanding to do because I heated this thing up. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut. All right, after a lot of heating and a lot of standing on it with something propped under one edge, it is straight again. Yeah. So now I'm gonna jigsaw it out. Bing, bing. Now I need to drill holes so I can get the jigsaw into these parts. Bam! Done! It's cut out, and it's starting to look cool, but there's a lot of shaping that I gotta do yet. It's basically still straight, too. I don't know what to do next. Figured I'd pull the guts out of this, which this little cover just has all the electronics inside it. And basically the way this works is you push that and it arms the system, it turns everything on so that the trigger works, and then that sends electricity to the igniter in the rocket engine. So when you hit this, the armed light turns on, the orange one, and when you hit this, the red light turns on, and this little speaker goes off and lets you know that something's about to happen. Now unfortunately, I had these connected with these little 9-volt connectors to these battery packs that have corresponding connectors on them, and this one shattered. But luckily, I have battery packs that I can replace this part with. And I'm sure these batteries are dead. They've been sitting around for basically forever. This is a 12-volt battery pack, and I have another 12-volt battery pack. So I'm going to get rid of this one and all the batteries in it that are dead and use a different 12-volt battery pack. The only reason there's a relay in this is because the relay makes sure that the speaker and the LED lights still turn on. They're on a separate circuit from the ignition system. because the ignition system would just draw all the amperage out and this light and this speaker didn't turn on. That's why I ran a relay. So now I'm just gonna pull this out. I'm gonna try to figure out how to put all this inside of this thing, because it all needs to fit inside of this. This could be interesting. All the electronics are pulled out of this. I've got my LEDs, speaker, trigger switch, arm switch, and relay. So next episode, I'll try to get all this put into this. So make sure you subscribe to catch episode 3, where I continue my build on the Doom rocket launcher. Remember, if you care, like and share. Thanks for watching.
Back from the dead.